We're going to continue looking at the remaining 7 patents. We looked at one. They have 8 issued. The motivation for Aurora Innovation was, of course, Uber's recent announcement that they were going to sell off their autonomous vehicle unit to Aurora Innovation. So that's what spurred us to create these episodes. 2 episodes ago, we looked at their trademarks. Yesterday, we looked at their one of their patents. And today, we're going to look at the remaining 7. Again, this is intended more as a cursory analysis and more as like a starting point for how you guys can go about analyzing patents for different companies and various portfolios. Again, let's go ahead and get started. The place to start always is uspto.gov. I've mentioned this in the past. Some people like Google patents. I personally like to rely on uspto.gov. I just have more confidence that everything that I search for is going to be the most up-to-date and complete record. Sometimes third-party sites don't index patents as quickly as the patent office, obviously because the data is coming from them after all. So the place to start is going to patents, uspto.gov, click on menu, patents, and then patents home, and then you can do a search patents. Now, once you're here, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to scroll down and you're going to want to go to full text patent search. I personally like to use just the advanced search option. If you guys are unsure or don't know what these codes are, you can just scroll down and look up what these codes are. So in this case, we're going to look it up by applicant name. We're going to look for all patents to Aurora Innovation by their applicant name. Now, if you're unsure about how to use this tool, you can click on it and it'll actually give you an example. It'll actually show you how you guys can use wildcards if you're unsure of the exact name by using the $sign. Let's go back to the top and just do our search. So we're going to go ahead and type in AANM and then Aurora Innovation. Here we go. Okay, the quotes. You need the quotes there. And so now we can see there's 8 patents. We looked at the very bottom one yesterday. I want to do a cursory review of the remaining 7 just so we get a general sense of what their patent portfolio is like. Again, this is intended more as a tool for you guys in doing your own patent portfolio analysis. Now, this one issued last December. Again, filed for in 2018, March 29 of 2018. Let's get into it. So this also covers a relative atlas and how it can be used to lay out elements in a digital map in the control of an autonomous vehicle. We have this term here, vehicle post, for the autonomous vehicle within a geographical region is determined. And then a relative atlas is accessed to identify elements in that geographical area. And then the relative poses between those elements and the vehicle are then determined. And then it's laid out in a digital map, which is essentially the purpose of this patent is to generate that mapping so that the vehicle can be controlled autonomously, and also so that other things can be done, like not just planning trajectories of the vehicle, but also looking at traffic controls and identifying other objects and doing other types of tracking. That is what this general patent is about. Now, we're going to go ahead and click on full pages. Now, one of the useful things is looking at the abstract. The abstract tends to give us a lot of useful information. I'm going to go ahead and click on full pages so I can get the full application. And I'm going to look at the drawings with you guys so we can take a look at this. Doing a summary review of the drawings tends to be a really, really good tool for just doing an initial analysis. Again, you're not going to be able to necessarily understand the entire patent just by looking at the drawings, but looking at the drawings is a good first step because it'll put everything else in context. The drawings really are a really, really useful tool. Now, this particular set of drawings is going to be identical to the last one. It looks like it's the same one. This was probably a continuation if I had to guess. Again, we can go into the subject matter. We can look at the file wrapper and actually determine that. But essentially, a continuation discloses the same subject matter as the parent application, but the claims are different, possibly narrower, possibly broader in scope. It really just depends. But for one reason or another, this company decided to file a continuation, and then that continuation has the same subject matter. And so those claims are entitled to this earlier date. Let's see if we can find, let's get to where they have their claims. I'm going to go ahead and click back because the text is a little bigger on this page here. So you guys can actually read this with me. But the very, very first thing in this application are the claims. So let's take a look at the claims. The first claim here is a method. So it's a method for generating a digital map for use by an autonomous vehicle. Now remember, in order for a party to infringe this claim, they have to perform every element. They have to actually perform every step in this method. So determining, accessing, laying out, these all have to be performed in order for a party to infringe. This is a method claim. This is one independent claim. This is the first place that you're going to go to when you're doing your analysis. In order to really understand what the patent covers, you have to look at the claims themselves. So generally, we recommend starting out and going to the independent claims. So looks like they have one independent method claim in this patent. And then we have, let's keep scrolling down. Let's see what other claims we have. Wow, a lot of method claims it looks like in this particular patent application. Okay, here's an apparatus claim. So this is covering a memory and computer instructions. Very popular type of claim. So this is going to cover any memory structure that's storing these instructions. And these instructions are going to obviously perform this novel method of generating a digital map for use by an autonomous vehicle. Again, and this is a claim, this is a high-level independent claim that's directed to an autonomous vehicle, not just a memory with instructions. So interesting. So this is covering a memory and an autonomous vehicle control system. Here's a Beauregard claim. So this is covering a non-transitory computer-readable storage medium, storing instructions. And obviously when these instructions are executed, they're going to perform this novel function here that's laid out in this claim. So it looks like we have a claim directed to a memory, a claim directed to instructions like this Beauregard claim, and a claim directed to an autonomous vehicle, and then the high-level method claim. And again, at the highest level, the purpose of this patent is to generate a map for use by an autonomous vehicle. Let's keep looking at their other patents. Let's take a look at what other patents they have. So this is another similar patent. This is also covering a relative atlas for autonomous vehicle and generation thereof. In this application, they're storing mapping data for use by an autonomous vehicle. And this relative atlas graph is then generated for a geographical area that's based on observations collected from the area. Let's take a look. Let's see what claims they have in this patent. Before we do that, though, let's take a look at their images. Really, really useful tool. Take a look at the drawings, see what information we can gather. Again, not intended to be thorough, but it's really, really good just to take a look at the drawings, just to get a sense of what sort of subject matter we're looking at whenever we're looking at a patent. So it's nice to do a summary of the drawings. Now, what you're going to see is a lot of these drawings are very similar to the last two patents, actually. So they probably ended up actually reusing, if I had to guess, quite a bit of the subject matter. Ultimately, the purpose of a member of a patent is to obtain valuable claims that are infringed by some party. Otherwise, if no one infringes the claims, then your patent really isn't worth anything. So let's go back. Let's take a look and see what they actually claimed in this patent. So in this patent, it looks like there's a method claim. So again, generating mapping data for use by an autonomous vehicle. So this is a generating mapping data claim. Again, this looks even more involved than the last few claims that we looked at. And then if we keep scrolling down, we're going to probably find, if I had to guess, probably an apparatus claim or maybe even a vehicle claim. Let's see what they did in this patent. An apparatus. So again, here's your memory and then computer instructions. And again, these instructions are going to perform a method that they're claiming is novel, probably very similar to the upper level method claim. And here's our Beauregard claim, which, as I've talked about in the past, Beauregard claims basically cover any entity that has memory that stores instructions that performs a novel method. So that's what this claim is covering here. And then here's our method claim. So, this is a method of propagating mapping data changes to an autonomous vehicle. Again, these first couple patents that we're looking at, they're heavily related to generating mapping information for use by an autonomous vehicle in the control of it. And again, here's another method claim. And this is covering also a method of deploying mapping data. Yeah, these are very, very involved patents. They have this one has 51 claims. I lost count of how many independent claims. I believe there was about 7 independent claims. So a lot of resources went into obtaining this patent, it seems like, just based on this review. Now, let's take a look. This patent looks a little different. This one's covering a vehicle sensor interface. Let's take a look at their drawings first. We're going to click on full pages. We can see that this subject matter looks a little different than what we were looking at before. So here, if you guys can see, here we have a control system and an array of cameras, right? Because they're going to need cameras in order to collect sensor information and LiDAR. Actually, it looks like there's a LiDAR array, a radar array, and a camera array. So let's take a look. So here's a swanky vehicle, cool looking vehicle. Looks like there's a control, perhaps like a beacon on top that's used to collect all the data. Oh, and actually it looks like there's multiple on the sides too, multiple sensors. So numerous sensors. Okay, so this figure 3, this is what was printed on the face of the patent, it looks like. And again, all this sensor information. And again, I'm just gathering this just based on looking at the drawings, but it looks like there's sensors and there's somehow they're feeding sensor information to a central 450. Let's see what 450 is. So 450 looks like is probably the central controller, if I had to guess. Where's 450? But the sensor data is fed, and that's what's used to actually perform this, to do the controlling, of course. So let's see what they actually claimed. I'm going to go back again. I'm going to look at the claims because it's a little easier to see on this screen. Here we have a system claim. So this is a system for an autonomous vehicle comprising an array of sensors configured to capture. So here we have an array of sensors. So they're going to capture information and generate sensor data in a time-sensitive network switch. So this is going to receive the data and a data power interface. This is also involves a way of powering these sensors, and then power conductors. Remember, In order to infringe this claim, a party has to either make, use, sell, offer for sale a system that includes all of these elements. This is a system claim. And then if we keep scrolling down, we'll see they also have an autonomous vehicle claim that has all these various elements. Again, very similar array of sensors, a time-sensitive network switch, data power interface, and power conductors. So power and data, looks like this is what this patent is about the interplay between power and data and the interface between the two. Let's keep scrolling down. Let's see what other interesting patents claims we can find. So let's see, a sensor electrical harness. Okay, so you actually need a harness in order to actually attach and connect all the various sensors to the central control. Let's take a look at, this looks like a machine learning related patent, which is this issued on June 9 of 2020, so more recently. And again, when we take a look at this patent, we're going to see, let's pull up the full pages. Again, this is also a long patent, 34 pages, so quite involved. This seems like probably this is going to be probably machine learning related patent just based on initial review of the drawings here with you guys. It's like they're receiving data, grouping it, and then determining various parameters, and then based on those, parameters, adapting control of the vehicle. Let's take a look. Let's see what they claimed. We're gonna go ahead and go back. Let's see. So again, initial claims, most important part of the entire patent. So you got to have an understanding of the claims in order to understand what it is the patent is actually covering. So it's a method of training a machine learning model to be used in autonomous control of the vehicle, and then this sets forth every step that's involved in that machine learning model. Training of that machine learning model. So generating a plurality of training instances, generating training instance inputs, and generating a supervised training instance. This is the high level independent claim. And then if we keep scrolling down, we can see that there's these are called dependent claims. And then here's another method claim, method of controlling an autonomous vehicle using a trained machine learning model. Down below, this sets forth all the limitations of that claim. Again, processing given vision data, and then generating a predicted state of at least one dynamic property, and then controlling the dynamic autonomous vehicle based on that predicted state. So this is an autonomous control related patent. This gets down deep into the actual machine learning aspects of it and how the models are actually trained. And then let's see, it looks like there's 3 more patents that we can take a look at. So this one is covering generating data using radar observation models based on machine learning. So another machine learning related patent, no surprise, right? I mean, this is squarely in the realm of machine learning, autonomous vehicle control. So again, 37 pages. This is another pretty sizable patent. Let's take a look. Let's just, again, do another review of some of these figures might look familiar. Actually, this one looks different. Again, I like to do just a scan through of the drawings. It just helps with everything else in context. But again, if you were doing an actual serious analysis, you're going to want to print this out and really read it very carefully. Look at every single word. Ultimately, remember, the point is to actually understand what the patent claims are covering, what the scope is of this patent. So let's take a look. Again, this issued August 4, 2020. So relatively recently. Let's scroll down. So it looks like they have, so this is a method claim. Looks like they're covering obtaining a first track and then generating a first predicted state. Here we go. So then they obtain data from one or more radar sensors and obtaining radar measurement data. And then based on that predicted state data and the radar measurement data, they generate track data using a machine learning model. And then they basically generate new states based on that. And then they generate a second track. So again, these are very, very technical patents, very technical claims, but no surprise. I mean, this is autonomous vehicle technology. And so obviously it's going to be very involved and very complex. This claim covers a system, one or more processors. Again, this is very similar to the Beauregard claim that we talked about before, where it's covering instructions. And the instructions, when they're executed by a processor, they perform this method. And this method is, you can see, it's very similar to the method up top. So let's keep scrolling down. Let's see if there's a vehicle claim. Okay, so here's your Beauregard claim. So non-transitory computer readable medium comprising instructions, and then execution of the instructions are going to perform this novel method that we see here. Let's keep scrolling down. Let's see. Okay, so here we had a method claim, a Beauregard claim, and a claim to a system. Let's take a look at their last 2 patents. So this one looks like it's covering very technical redundant lateral velocity determination and use in secondary vehicle control systems. Let's take a look at their drawings just to get a sense. Again, 21 pages, so not as long as the prior ones, but still, these are pretty technical cases, as you guys can see. So it looks like this involves image capture, not as many drawings as we've seen in prior applications, but again, very, very involved. Let's take a look at what they're claiming in this one. So it's a method of autonomously operating a vehicle. Okay, so more autonomous control using a primary vehicle control system. In order to actually really understand this, you're going to have to read this patent and get a better sense for what first lateral velocity is. So this one actually has two control systems. So a secondary vehicle control system, and so it involves determining a redundant second lateral velocity using additional sensors, and in response to an adverse event detected, controlling the vehicle using the secondary vehicle control system. So the autonomous vehicle uses a secondary vehicle control system to supplement a primary vehicle control system. I see. So this is used to perform a controlled stop if an adverse event is detected in the primary vehicle control. So it sounds like it's almost a redundancy system that's used in case there is an issue with the primary vehicle system. We can see there's a method claim, and then if we keep scrolling down, we'll also probably, if I had to guess, probably find a system or an apparatus claim. Let's see if that's the case here. Here's another method claim, also involving the secondary system, secondary vehicle control system, and then a secondary vehicle. So this is just claiming the secondary vehicle control system. And then here's a vehicle claim. So this is directed to the entire vehicle, and that has the primary vehicle control system and the secondary vehicle control system. And then here's your Beauregard claim. So here's your non-transitory computer readable storage medium, having instructions, and when the processor executes the instructions, it performs this novel method. Again, pretty interesting. Vehicle claim, Beauregard claim, and then a claim just on the secondary vehicle control system, and then a method claim, well, two method claims. So pretty interesting study, especially since autonomous vehicle technology is such a hot issue. Let's take a look at this final patent. So this one issued super recent. It looks like this one issued on September 15th this year. Let's take a look at the drawings again. Always nice to do a cursory review of the drawings. It helps you out, gives the rest of the application context. Looks like this patent probably involves, again, more image sensing, other types of sensing in order to autonomously control a vehicle. Let's see. Let's go back, look at the claims. So this is covering a downwardly directed optical array sensor. Okay, so optical array sensor that's used in autonomous vehicle control. So it determines a vehicle velocity, I see, based upon images of the ground or driving surface captured from multiple downwardly directed optical sensors. So basically they're pointing optical sensors downwards, and then based on that collected data, they're trying to determine the speed of the vehicle. Remember, one interesting thing about velocity is that it's a vector. So it has a magnitude component, otherwise referred to as speed, and a directional component. So that's what's implied here. So velocity having a direction and a magnitude. Pretty neat. And they're doing that, it looks like they're doing it entirely using image data. And notice there's orientation. So it's image sensors that are actually downwardly directed. So they're facing downwards. So pretty interesting. Let's take a look at what they claim. So a method of autonomous vehicle operation. So here we go. Comprising a plurality of images. So receiving images of a ground surface, right? So here's your images of the ground surface downwards, and it looks like that they take those images and then they process the images to determine the velocity of the vehicle. And if you guys are interested in how they actually do that, you can study this claim and then also go into the actual details of the patent and read the actual specification with the drawings next to you. So specification drawings, and then you can actually really understand how they're actually doing this. But again, high level, at the very, very highest level, this is a method of autonomous vehicle control where they collect a bunch of image data of the ground surface, and then based on that, they determine a velocity of the vehicle. So again, super fresh patent just issued in September. Let's keep scrolling down. We can see there's also a vehicle control system claim. Again, very, very similar to what we saw up top. And then here's just a vehicle. So not a control system, but actually covering the entire vehicle. And then again, if we go down, here's your Beauregard claim. So storage medium, stores instructions, processor performs instructions, and it performs this method here. This is really intended to be a pretty aggressive deep dive. I know there's a lot of information that came at you guys, but again, useful tools, hopefully, that you guys will actually be able to use some of this when you guys are doing your own patent analyses and trying to analyze patent portfolios of your competitors or of your partners or of even for your own internal company. It's always a good idea just to really understand what it is a patent is covering, and not just be general in how you analyze and look at patents. It really is good to study the drawings, read the claims once over, and then do a really detailed deep reading of the actual patent with the specification and drawings. And when you do that, then you'll have a much better sense of what the claims of the patent are covering. And looking forward to doing more awesome episodes for you.